वक्त की बड़ी खबर कि ईरानी पासदारान इनकलाब ने डोनाल्ड ट्रंप का बयान मज़ाक़ खेज़ करार दे दिया है। हमले जारी रहे तो खित्ते से तेल बरामद नहीं होने देंगे। पासदारान इनकलाब की जानिब से ये वाज़े पैगाम दिया गया है अमरीकी सदर डोनाल्ड ट्रंप को, जंग कब बंद होगी ये अब हम तय करेंगे। पासदारान इनकलाब ने बड़ी बात कर दी है, खित्ते में सब महफूज होंगे या कोई महफूज नहीं होगा। पासदारान इनकलाब का बयान सामने आया। ईरानी पासदारान इनकलाब ने ट्रंप का बयान मज़ाक़ खेज़ करार दे दिया है। हमले जारी रहे तो खित्ते से तेल बरामद नहीं होने देंगे, जंग कब बंद होगी ये अब हम तय करेंगे। पासदारान इनकलाब ने वाज़े कर दिया है कि खित्ते में सब महफूज होंगे या कोई महफूज नहीं होगा। पासदारान इनकलाब ने अपने अज़ाइम बता दिए हैं। तो ईरानी पासदारान इनकलाब ने बड़ा बयान दिया, ट्रंप का बयान मज़ाक़ खेज़ करार दिया। हमले अगर जारी रहे तो खित्ते से तेल बरामद नहीं होने देंगे। पासदारान इनकलाब की जानिब से यह वाज़े कर दिया गया है, जंग कब बंद होगी ये अब हम तय करेंगे। खित्ते में सब महफूज होंगे या कोई महफूज नहीं होगा। पासदारान इनकलाब की जानिब से ये बयान सामने आया। और आपको याद दिला दें कि आज जब डोनाल्ड ट्रंप बात कर रहे थे तो उनकी जानिब से ये कहा गया था कि आबनाए हुर्मुज़ को बंद नहीं होना चाहिए। अगर आबनाए हुर्मुज़ बंद होती है तो फिर सख्त कार्रवाई की जाएगी, अमरीकी सदर की जानिब से कहा गया था। और इसका जवाब दिया गया है ईरानी पासदारान इनकलाब की जानिब से कि हमले जारी रहे तो खित्ते से तेल बरामद नहीं होने देंगे। सऊदी अरब के मशरक़ी रीजन पर बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल से हमला। ईरानी बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल को फ़िज़ा में तबाह कर दिया गया है। सऊदी वज़ारत दिफ़ा का ऐसा बताना है। सऊदी अरब के इलाके अल-खुर्ज पर भी ड्रोन हमला। ईरानी ड्रोन को फ़िज़ा में तबाह कर दिया गया है। इराक़ के कुर्दिस्तान में यूएई कौंसलेट पर ड्रोन हमला। बहरीन में ड्रोन हमले में खातून जाँ बहक जबकि मुतअद्दिद ज़ख्मी हो गए हैं। सऊदी अरब के मशरक़ी रीजन पर बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल से हमला हुआ है। ईरानी बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल को फ़िज़ा में ही तबाह कर दिया गया है। सऊदी अरब के इलाके अल-खर्ज पर भी ड्रोन हमला। ईरानी ड्रोन को फ़िज़ा में तबाह कर दिया गया है। इराक़ के कुर्दिस्तान में यूएई कौंसलेट पर ड्रोन हमला। बहरीन में ड्रोन हमले में खातून जाँ बहक मुतअद्दिद ज़ख्मी हो गए।
Very completely. Iran's naval power has been sunk. It's on the bottom of the sea. It's almost 50 ships. I was just notified it's 51 ships. I didn't know they had that many. Didn't last very long. And these are fighting vessels. They're meant to fight, but they're not meant to fight against us. We continue to target Iran's drone and missile capabilities. Their drones are way down. Their drone manufacturing has been hit starting today. We know all of the places they manufacture the drones, and they're being hit one after another. Their missile capability is down to about 10%, maybe less. We're also hitting where they make missiles and where they deliver missiles. We've struck over 5,000 targets to date, some of them very major targets. And we've left some of the most important targets for later in case we need to do it. If we hit them, it's going to take many years for them to be rebuilt, having to do with electricity production and many other things. So we're not looking to do that if we don't have to. But they're the kind of things that are very easy to hit, but very devastating if they are hit. We are waiting to see what happens before we hit them. We could take them all out in one day, but it's all resulting in a 90% decline in various things, but in particular Iranian missile launchers and 83% drop in drone launchers. As you know, the drone launchers are pretty well shot, but we're at over 90% decline in the Iranian missile launchers, which is very hard to reproduce and very hard to get. And usually what we were able to do through great equipment, a lot of smart people, as soon as they sent a missile up from a launcher, we were able to knock out that launcher within a period of 5 minutes or less, accurately right on the noggin. So now we have low-cost interceptors effectively combating Iranian drones, and our B-2 bombers recently dropped dozens of 2,000-pound bombs to destroy missile launchers all over Iran and buried deep under Iranian soil in many cases. The soil was no match. And we're also annihilating the manufacturing base that the regime uses to build drones and missiles at a rate that nobody thought was possible. We're knocking them out We know where they all are. We're knocking them out very quickly. We're ahead of our initial timeline by a lot. I would say that we probably would not have thought after a month we'd be here. In addition to the fact that we've taken out the leadership twice and maybe 3 times. And we, as you know, we want to be involved. We don't want another president that maybe wouldn't be willing to do what I'm willing to do for the good of the world, for the good of our nation, to be stuck with the situation in 5 years or 10 years from now. So we think they should put a president in, or the head of the country in, that's going to be able to do something peacefully for a change. They've been doing this for 47 years, killing people for 47 years, whether it's the barracks or even the SS Cole, where they were involved very strongly. They always denied it. But where they were very strongly involved, and all of the people that died through the roadside bombs, died and are right now walking around with no legs, no arms, a face that's been so badly damaged. The Iranian regime has been attacking Americans and spreading terror for 47 years, and despite these countless opportunities to renounce their nuclear ambitions, which they had just a short while ago, they told Mr. Witkoff, who is standing right over here, they said, they actually said, we want to keep building. Essentially, in a real nutshell, we want to continue to build nuclear weapons. If we didn't knock out Midnight Hammer, if we didn't knock out their Iranian potential, if we didn't do that with Midnight Hammer, they would have had a nuclear weapon. They would have used it long before now. And at a minimum, Israel would have been annihilated. I was very lucky that we had the courage to do that, that we had the talented pilots and the great equipment. The B-2 bombers are unbelievable. We ordered 25 more, by the way. The newer, better version. It's we have the greatest military in the world. We have the greatest equipment in the world by far. You see that no matter where we go. You still need the people, though, to operate it and to use it. And those are the people that we cherish. Even after we obliterated their key nuclear sites in Operation Midnight Hammer, they never negotiated in good faith. They still continued to say, we want to build nuclear, we want enrichment at levels that were unacceptable. And they even turned down an offer for unlimited free nuclear fuel forever for civilian purposes. We had people offering them free nuclear fuel. They weren't interested in that because they wanted to build a nuclear weapon. So instead, the regime was trying to reconstitute its weapons program at a different site. They couldn't go back to where they were, the 3 sites that we obliterated, but they were starting work at another site, a different site, different kind of a site, and that was protected by granite. They wanted it protected. Granite's pretty good, but they wanted it protected by a lot deeper. They wanted to go a lot deeper, and they started the process while rapidly building conventional ballistic missiles. They were going to do it all at the same time that threatened our overseas bases and soon could have reached even our homeland. The regime's intention was to use this exponentially growing ballistic missile threat to make it virtually impossible to prevent them from obtaining a nuclear weapon. So as you probably saw, they had a tremendous number of missiles, most of which are now being used or destroyed, and very unsuccessfully used, because we have been able, for the most part, to shoot them all down. What incredible technology. The Patriots have been unbelievable, and other things. And the laser technology that we have now is incredible. It's coming out pretty soon. Where literally lasers will do the work of, at a lot less cost, do the work of what the Patriots are doing or what other things are doing. The situation was very quickly approaching the point of no return, and the United States found it intolerable, in my opinion, based on what Steve and Jared and Pete and others were telling me, Marco was so involved, that I thought that they were going to attack us. I thought they would, if we didn't do this at the time we did it, I think they had in mind to attack us. And if you notice, they did something which was very foolish, very stupid, I would say. They attacked their neighbors. And their neighbors were largely neutral, or at least weren't going to be involved, and they got attacked. And it had the reverse effect. The neighbors came onto our side and started attacking them, and actually quite successfully. If you look at Saudi Arabia, you look at UAE, Qatar, and others, but they were strong and they were smart, but they got attacked. Nobody, when I first heard it, I said, no, somebody made a mistake. There was no mistake. UAE had over 1,000 missiles shot at it, knocked them almost all down. On the very first day I came down the escalator in 2015, I said, quote, I will stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. And all I'm doing is keeping my promise. Think of that. That was in 2015. I said it. It was a threat then, a much bigger threat now, but no longer a threat, not for a long time anyway. We want to keep it that way. As we continue Operation Epic Fury, we're also focused on keeping energy and oil flowing to the world. And I will not allow a terrorist regime to hold the world hostage and attempt to stop the globe's oil supply. And if Iran does anything to do that, they'll get hit at a much, much harder level. I will take out those targets that were easy and that I mentioned just before. We'll take them out so quickly.